Are you looking for a studio to get your next tattoo or piercing? The Tattoo Studio in Muncie, Indiana is the official tattoo studio of DJG Motorsports. Operating for 23 years, the Tattoo Studio has an experienced lineup of artists, including Josh, Ross, and Shannon, who are ready to work with you, whether you are getting your first tattoo or you are ready to get back in the chair. I can promise you that you will leave the studio happy. I have gotten all my tattoos from the Tattoo Studio and have been recommending them for years. To make an appointment, you can call 765-284-8429. The Tattoo Studio is open from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Sundays.
Drivers, start your engines!
Yellow's out. Managed just about outranked him. And she busted her.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of 3 Wide with DJG. The green flag is out, and we are ready to roll 3 wide. Before I kick off today's episode, I just wanted to let you all know that due to some scheduling conflicts, AJ and Jarrett cannot join me today. Also, if you follow us on Facebook, you might have seen our post informing you all that due to some time constraints, we would not be releasing a video of our episode today on YouTube. However, we will still be posting our episode to YouTube for you to listen if you would like. You can also listen to today's episode anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. I did want to inform you of that decision, why we made that decision. As we prepare for Redbud 400, we're going to be in attendance, and then us having to come back to prepare for our races at Mount Lawn Speedway on Sunday. I just didn't think we would have enough time to edit and upload, so that is why, and I do apologize, but as I've said, if you would like to listen, you can still listen on YouTube or anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. To kick off episode 23, I wanted to start out by congratulating Kyle Frame for his third place finish at Angola. The 56th annual Redbud 400 is finally here. Today was the last day to purchase advanced tickets, however, you can still purchase tickets tomorrow at the gate. If you are unable to make it to Anderson Speedway, you can catch all of the action on Racing America, with streaming starting at 6. Pit gates will open at 11, with practice scheduled to kick off at 1:30. Grandstands will open at 4, with qualifying scheduled at 4:30. Fans will then have the opportunity to meet with their favorite drivers during the autograph session scheduled at 5:30 in the pavilion. Pre-race ceremonies will begin at 7, with the green flag scheduled for 7:30 p.m. Up next, we have some NASCAR Post-Race results from Atlanta and Mid-Ohio. Your race winner, as well as Stage 1 and 2 winner, were Chase Elliott. The battle for the lead was a great one, starting with about 15 laps to go. However, Ross Chastain made contact with Denny Hamlin, which resulted in Hamlin going for a spin and bringing out the caution. Chastain received a lot of criticism from the booth, as this is not the first incident he has had with Denny and other drivers. With 3 laps to go, the battle for the lead really picked up, with the front runners going 3 wide. At this point in the race, Corey LaJoie had led 19 laps before falling back to about second or third. As LaJoie made a run from the top, Chase threw a block, which resulted in LaJoie making contact with the outside wall and collecting other drivers. As the caution came out, Chase was deemed the leader and would go on to win the race. This win made the Elliots the second father-son duo to win at Atlanta, the first being the Earnhardts. Your top 5 Cup finishers from Atlanta were Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Eric Jones, and Ryan Blaney. Your top 5 Xfinity finishers at Atlanta were Austin Hill, Josh Berry, Ryan Truex, Tyler Reddick, and Daniel Hemrick. Your top 5 truck finishers at Mid-Ohio were Parker Kligerman, Zane Smith, Carson Hocevar, Stuart Friesen, and Christian Eckes. The NASCAR Xfinity and Cup Series will take on New Hampshire Speedway this weekend. The Xfinity Series will take the green flag at 2:30 p.m. on Saturday. The Cup Series will take the green flag at 3 p.m. on Sunday. Trucks will be back in action on July 23rd when they take on Pocono. This past Tuesday, Slinger Superspeedway hosted their annual Slinger Nationals. William Byron won the 43rd annual Slinger Nationals, followed by Luke Finhouse, Derek Thorne, Austin Nason, Matt Kenseth, and Stephen Nasse. With less than 20 laps to go, Ty Majeski and Luke Finhouse battled hard for the lead. However, Byron was able to stay right with them and managed to get by after the two made contact. Following this win, many look towards this year's Snowball Derby and what Byron may be able to accomplish. This win is also the second of its kind. Byron became the second driver to win this race in his first appearance. The first was Alan Quickie. Again, your top 6 finishers from this year's 43rd annual Slinger Nationals were William Byron, Luke Finhouse, Derek Thorne, Austin Nason, Matt Kenseth, Stephen Nasse. Up next, we had some pretty big news in NASCAR this past week. During a Toyota Racing Development Media Conference call, Denny Hamlin in 2311 Racing unexpectedly announced that Tyler Reddick would be joining the team in 2024, as he will remain at RCR through the 2023 season. Denny said the following regarding Reddick: "I watched him, I raced against him, I wanted him, and I got him." He went on to say, "We do not know who the sponsor will be. We do not know what car it is. All we know is we wanted him." Reddick was interested in 2311 ahead of their 2021 season with the number 23, having several conversations with Hamlin. It is noted that the signing of Reddick comes 19 months ahead of the start of the 2024 season. However, Hamlin saw no reason to wait to sign someone of Reddick's caliber. Reddick shared that he believes that there were other teams wanting to sign him, but that he could not pass on 2311 as they have seen both of their cars in victory lane within the company's beginning. Hamlin noted no plans to extend the team to 3 cars at this time, but also backs Kurt Busch's future as a driver or otherwise. He went on to say, as long as Kurt wants to be a race car driver, we want to have him. Once he's done driving, he's going to have a nice, cushy office job at 2311, so he's going to be a part of our future well beyond his driving days. There was no mention of Wallace in his future at 2311 Racing. Following the news that Reddick would be leaving RCR at the conclusion of the 2023 season, RCR released the following statement: "We're proud of the success Tyler Reddick has found at Richard Childress Racing. We're focused on winning a championship in 2022 and 2023, although the timing of this announcement cannot be any worse." Nicholas Sanchez also made an announcement via Twitter that he would no longer be competing with BJ McLeod Racing in the Xfinity Series. He went on to say, "I've been presented an opportunity that both supports and aligns with my plan for growth and advancement. It is not something that I can pass up on and cannot wait to share this news soon." There was also some big news out of IndyCar earlier this week. Reigning IndyCar champion Alex Palou will be joining McLaren Racing in 2023. However, despite this news, Chip Ganassi Racing issued a press release announcing that he would be staying with them in 2023. The press release, which was not approved by Palou, also included a quote from him that did not come from him at all. Palou issued the following statement as a result on Twitter: "I have recently learned from the media that this afternoon, without my approval, Chip Ganassi Racing issued a press release announcing that I would be driving with CGR in 2023. Even more surprising was that CGR's release included a quote which did not come from me. I did not approve that press release, and I did not author or approve that quote. As I have recently informed CGR for personal reasons, I do not intend to continue with the team after 2022. This evening's unfortunate events aside, I have great respect for the CGR team and look forward to finishing the season strongly together." We now move on to some big news out of the dirt racing side of things. Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet have created a partnership to promote a 12-week midweek sprint car tour set for next season. The High Limit Sprint Car Series will debut next year on Flow Racing. Racing America reports that while the series schedule has not been finalized, 2 of the events will feature $50,000 to win races, as well as $140,000 in overall prize money. The other 10 events will feature $23,000 to win and an $80,000 overall purse. The series will also have an end-of-the-year championship fund totaling $120,000. The goal for this series is to continue growing sprint car racing similar to Kyle's work with the late models. We did ask a good friend of the show, Chance, who is our unofficial official dirt reporter, his thoughts on this news, and he said the following: "I think it will be amazing. It's exactly what dirt racing needs, in my opinion. It's great to have 2 guys that are good, have tons of money, and want to just build the sport. They don't care about profit. They don't care about being the dirt series. They want to go to tracks that don't get to have big shows and give these little tracks some publicity." Chance went on to say that Flow will absorb Dirt Vision in 5 years. Flow has made some serious money moves to make the series that they broadcast good, where Dirt Vision is relying on the World Racing Group to grow their own series. I think all of this is fantastic for dirt racing. Speed Sport released an article in which the World Racing Group is said to be keeping an eye on this new series. A WRG official provided the following statement: "We are aware of the announcement, and we've spoken with Brad and some of the other industry stakeholders. We are keeping an eye on what they're planning and how it's coming together." There was also some drama around this year's Chili Bowl, with Kyle Larson announcing that unless something drastically changes with the purse structure for the Chili Bowl Nationals, he will not be in attendance. He shared with Racing America that, end quote, "I've been going to the Chili Bowl for 15 years. It's a great event and I love it. But now that I've started racing in these other big events against big names, they feel like a bigger deal to me than the Chili Bowl." Larson also made it clear that "I'm just at the point where I want to see the purse grow a lot. So for the time being, and unless that happens, I won't be running in this year's event. And I know that there are a lot of other racers that feel the same." Another driver rumored to not be in attendance this year is Christopher Bell. Brad Sweet said that he would, end quote, "for sure, at a minimum, lose $5,000 running the Chili Bowl with a chance to make $10,000. Race promoter Emmett Hahn called these statements from drivers a boycott of the event. Hahn made the following statement: "Larson nor any other driver has called me over the past several years to have a good faith conversation about the purse or my overhead as a promoter." A spokesperson said that the total expense for the event is close to $1 million. Hahn also shared that he does not receive any revenue from concessions and has to pay rent to the venue for the event, which he says affects the event's payout. He went on to say that, "I hate to hear that they feel that way, but I'm not just going to give them $50,000 like they want because we don't have it." He went on to say, "At the same time, I don't like hearing that it's not as big of a race because of the purse, because what other race is creating NASCAR careers like this one is?" His other comments include, "Bell started this crap 2 years ago, and it's just a shame because no one has called me. They have my number. Chase Elliott has my number. I'm really easy to get a hold of, and I would have had this conversation with them too, but they've all gone straight to the media." He would rather go to that race in New Mexico, and that's what this is really about. "I would hate it for fans who wanted to see them, but this race grew without them and will continue to grow if that's what they choose. They are not going to back me into a corner, and I will not be backed into a corner." The 37th Annual Chili Bowl Nationals are scheduled for January 9th through the 14th. So, following those statements, I wanted to say that if I was a reporter for one of these publications that is reporting on this, I would want to ask the race promoter, Emmett Hahn, some of the following questions. Why can other events pay more, but the Chili Bowl purse has remained at $10,000? I also wanted to ask AJ and Jarrett, and I'm sure I know their answer, but I wanted to ask them what we thought about Kyle Larson's statements. Now, Kyle Larson is a big name, both in NASCAR and dirt. There are other big names like Christopher Bell, Brad Sweet. Think of any big name driver that competes in the Chili Bowl. You would think that their opinions and thoughts would hold weight and would affect and bring change, right? I'm not sure if that's what we're going to see or not, but it is interesting that, these drivers are coming out and saying we're not coming if the purse doesn't increase. The Chili Bowl Nationals is said to generate $15 million for the local economy. A spokesperson for the event said it cost about $1 million to put the event on. Hahn says that he has to pay rent, but does not receive any concessions. So my question is, what is the overhead? If you're saying that you don't have the money and, the purse is affected by your overhead, maybe show us what the overhead is. I also made a tweet, and I said very clearly that this isn't my business because I'm not a stakeholder in the event. I'm not a driver. I'm not on a team. I'm not a member of the staff who puts on the event. But if you're saying that the costs are so great that you can only pay $10,000, maybe back that up with some evidence-based information, right? Like, tell us, what is your overhead? We know that it costs about $1 million to put on, but how much are you profiting? Why is the purse so low, and why are you not doing anything to change and increase the purse? I just wanted to say that Hahn makes a statement about drivers having a conversation with him, and that he wants to have a good faith conversation with drivers. But my question is, what would they discuss? I think the consensus is pretty clear among drivers that the purse needs to be increased. I also wanted to say that, quite frankly, it's bullshit for him to say that the event will grow without big name drivers. I think it's hard to do. I'm not saying that it still couldn't be a good event without the big name drivers, but I think it would be hard to continue growing it without big name drivers. If big name drivers attended an event scheduled at the same time, the race that he mentions and references in his comments in New Mexico is scheduled for the same day and time that the Chili Bowl Nationals are, and that race pays more. So if these big name drivers are deciding to go to New Mexico instead of Tulsa for an event, which race do you think their fans are going to be watching? Granted, some fans may still continue to watch the Chili Bowl Nationals because of how big of an event it is. But I would say that a lot of fans would opt in to watch a race that their favorite driver's in. And I'm sure their fans understand that, it's just not logical for them to go to Tulsa to race for $10,000 when they could go to New Mexico and race for, $20,000, $30,000. So, I call bullshit on that. And then I would want to ask him, why would drivers and teams want to continue to attend the Chili Bowl Nationals when there is very little incentive to do so? As Brad Sweet said, at a minimum, I'm going to lose $5,000 to compete for a chance to win $10,000. So, it's a shame because I enjoyed Chili Bowl Nationals, but I'm not too sure what the future may hold for the event. To close out today's episode, I wanted to remind you all that Mount Lawn Speedway will be back in action this Sunday for the 49th annual Raintree 100, which will be ran by the Wooten Automotive Modifieds. The Red Bones Pizza and Chicken Crown Vics, Accelerator Pros Pro Compacts, JW Photography Stock Compacts, and the Thunder Roadsters will also be racing. Sunday will also be Mount Lawn Speedway's Back to School night, where backpacks will be given away. Grandstands open at 3, followed by practice at 3:30. Racing is set to begin at 6 p.m. There will also be fireworks at the conclusion of Sunday's events. Before we close out for good, I did want to go over the point standings that were recently announced. So your top 10 drivers in the Wooten Automotive Modifieds are Ryan Amonette, J.J. Schaefer, Brent Sutton, Adam Kiesling, Jake Owens, Austin Coe, Don Skaggs, Robbie Wyman, Rodney Sutton, and Jason Atkinson. Top 10 drivers in the Red Bones Pizza and Chicken Crown Vics are Randy Hops, Frank Hardcastle, Kyle Evans, Austin Evans, Jacob High, Colton Coe, TJ Calloway, Tommy Pitcher, DJG's own Greg Clark, and Chris Kindler. In your Accelerator Pros Pro Compacts, we have Zach Morris, Derek Morris, TJ Fannin, Brett Smith, Trent Gosser, Thomas Winger, Shaylin Calciano, William Jennings, Travis Lee, and J.R. Vester. In your JW Photography Stock Compacts, your top 10 drivers are Chris Gray, Brad Miller, John Province, Robert Bryan, Cody Riley, Trevor Lane, Jacob Korn, Jaden Cook, Dustin King, and Brendan Kindler. That is all for episode 23. I do apologize that it is a bit shorter than normal, but lots of good information to get out today. Want to thank you all for your continued support. As always, it means a lot. We'll have some information released soon regarding some merch. We talked about it briefly last week, but we did get some t-shirts made. So once we get those in, we will post some information about that. So if you're interested, be sure to check that out. Also, be sure to follow us on all our social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and we also have a TikTok. So be sure to check all of that out. It will be linked. And with that being said, thank you all so much.